dark. Okay, so I did this row first, which was eagle, see from a higher perspective, in spring, see your seeds grow, and then oracle. So I was saying that this card reminds me of another card within the deck that is called Father Sky, and it has a feather and this blue background. And the eagle to me is, otherworldly realms, right? It's a spirit realm. So coming in, I don't necessarily understand the bunny see your seeds grow, unless that just means that I've been putting in the work, which it means that I'm able to connect higherly, higher early.
Hirely, new
Yeah,
word
yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
and to me, the seeds thing is, something happened in the dream.
yes.
There was a process happening.
Uh-huh.
See it from my perspective, right? And seeds were planted. And what happened?
Okay, and then the oracle card comes out, and I look at the card first before I read the descriptions, and that just like tune in, tap into what you are feeling, and then it says wait for important information. So I think that goes with what you were saying, right? Is that there were seeds.
Right. And not that you didn't also realize that,
Right.
because you're smart.
That okay, so that's happened. Integrate it now, and see where it goes. And the oracle cards wait for important information. So I asked the same question with a different deck because you're not supposed to ask the same question, with the same cards. So um, the Utopia came out, which is otherworldly, obviously, to me, but it also struck me as the way that I described it to you when I was talking about it this morning or texting it to you. How the feeling was, it was scary, but it was a utopia. It was a euphoric feeling.
Did you feel like a letting go? Or you were being asked to let go?
I don't know. Okay. No. Yeah. Yeah, but I was scared. I got scared. I know I got scared and I woke myself up. So then, and these might not correlate with one another, but this is how they came out. So I kept it. But under spring, it says the guardians. Um, and obviously, before reading this, the guardians, this was a connecting card, right? This was seeing, um, taking the leap, and the guardians are there, right? But then when I go back and I read the description, it says shielding, defense, and warning. So that made me pause. And then here with the adventure card came out underneath the oracle, and the oracle, or this to me, was what you were talking about as yourself connecting with yourself. Um, but how I saw the cards was that uh, the oracle is wait for important information, and I'm giving myself important information. So kind of going back with this card, and that it's the seeds growing, right? And so by little by little, I'm getting information from the guardians, which is right here, and taking or going somewhere or turning into something else, right? Which is the hand kind of dematerializing. So then I did the Lemurian deck, and I asked all of the questions, the whole question, with all the decks. I asked what was the experience I had last night, more information on the experience I had last night, who or what, and then this card came out. It's the Divine Blueprint. So as I was describing in the video I did, this is what it felt like. So the picture is a representation of what it was feeling like But then when I was looking at here, the self-embodiment thing stood out to me, correlating with this card, the adventure card, because you see the portal. It's like
It's a very similar card.
So it's kind of like a layered meaning here with the picture is the way that I was feeling as I was turning into something
A butterfly.
that wasn't there, but it was there. And then the self-embodiment. And then I asked if there was anything else that the cards wanted to bring out, because nothing else was coming out. Is there anything else that you'd like me to know about this? And then the angelic one popped out. And it says, number 9, divine healing is upon you, divine grace and divine guidance. So I let that go. And then this one, I grabbed the ancient one, or the Mystical Shaman Oracle, which is a really powerful deck that I don't use lightly. And we have number 1, the Ancient Ones, and 57, the Time Master. I'm going to go ahead and read you what the Ancient One says, because it will resonate, I think, with what we talked about this morning. So, the essence. The Ancient Ones are the shamans of the old who defended death and escaped from the tyranny of time. The Ancient Ones walked the earth like us, in flesh and bone. Now they reside in infinity and can counsel us after we say yes to our calling. They are available to help us attain our full realization. And then it says the invitation. The Ancient Ones are inviting you to reach to the future to help birth a new destiny of the earth. Go ahead, find out who you are becoming 10,000 years from now. It's interesting that timestamp of 10,000 years.
Why is that?
Because
it's an aeon thing.
It's supposed, aeon thing. If you accept the invitation, great power and blessings will come your way and allow you to craft a new destiny for it. It reads yourself, but I changed it to humanity. Do not hesitate to bite off more than you can chew. Right, that's me being scared. Do not hesitate to bite off more than you can chew, because you have unlimited spiritual resources available right now. Okay, and so the Time Master the essence. Time is a construct of human mind through which life events are seen to flow in a straight line from past to future. This, however, is an illusion. Time moves in patterns, fractals, sometimes turning like a wheel and other moving straight like an arrow. Humans see time like a ticking clock, and this image reminds us that there is only so much of it to spend in a life. Like a kind of currency. At any given moment, you can see time in all its infinite potential at once, vast and all-encompassing, then shrunken and finite. It all depends on perspective. The invitation. When the Time Master visits you, he asks the most important question. Will you break free from limited cause and effect thinking by moving beyond linear illusion and welcoming the cyclical quality of time? You find yourself in a moment when the wheel of time turns and you're able to influence the past, thus changing the present and future simultaneously. This is the true test of the Time Master. You're being invited to take back your power, so let go of the past and choose to step into your life. In this moment, you are all powerful. You are the Time Master. Anything is possible now. So those came out. And just because I've been on this whole thing where Pleiadians are coming in pretty strongly, right? The Ancient Ones kind of, not kind of, but stood out to me as a Pleiadian. The knowledge that is coming to me in the Pleiadian form, whether or not it is actually that or not, it's neither here nor there. but it's an ancient knowledge that I'm tapping into. And this all started with the new moon in Aries. Remember when we were dancing and I told you that I was spinning the earth and I was tapping into this grid, and every time I tapped into it, it got brighter on the connecting points?
No, I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, it was when we were dancing and stuff. I went into this trance part, and I was seeing the earth or a globe, or what I perceived as a globe, and it had a grid on it, and on the intersecting lines I would touch the connect point where it crossed, and it would get brighter and brighter, and then I could see how it would flow, like roots getting water or seeping up water. I could see how it was lighting up, not to the next connect point, but ever so lightly, kind of following, like shading. And if you're drawing on a paper, like it gets darker, darker, and then lighter and lighter and lighter. Seeing that on the grid point, on the grid lines. And then I would turn the grid, and then I would touch another point, and then I would turn the grid, and I would touch another point, and it was just like I was working the grid, infusing it with happiness or knowledge or something, right?
Just just that golden white energy kind of thing.
Yeah. But I was able to manipulate the grid. I was able to manipulate the realm, the earth realm, or what I was perceiving as the earth realm, and infuse it at different points across the whole of it. I wasn't stuck in one spot like Indiana or this apartment. I was able to cross. I was seeing outside. I was outside of the earth. So the earth. I was here in space. So say I was on the moon, right?
I get it.
And I was looking down at the earth, and I was much bigger than the earth because I could literally flip it with my mind or turn it in my mind, and then I was like playing musical notes on the cross points of the grid.
I totally visualize what you're talking about.
Okay, so then I pulled this one out, and it said rebirth, which coincides with the ancient ones right here, what we just read about that. And then I noticed that the bunny is right here, right? The seeds, watch your seeds grow is the rebirth, right? And then I asked for clarification on the eagle and utopia as it pertains to the dream last night, and it was Page of Rods. Now I did this deck specifically for you to help with the understanding of this all, because you can relate to these cards, these tarot cards, better than you can the oracle cards.
At least in terms of the symbolism.
Right. So with the eagle and the utopia, it says the Page of Rods, which to me is a bringer of knowledge, but I don't know how that.
It's the Princess of Wands, right? In my deck. Yeah. Which is like one of your cards.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Spirit of fire going up, and the tiger beast still dragging you down in an eternal yin yang.
So then I asked for clarification on the spring and the guardians as it pertained to the dream, and I got the world, which to me represented the universe. So as I was describing the eagle and Father Sky, that's to me what this symbolizes. But how does it for you?
Yeah, well, unification, wholeness, completeness. But how does that correlate to the seeds planted and guardians? I guess to me then, if this is the draws them together, then yeah, seeds planted, wholeness of body, waiting in fruition because the earth always provides.
The universe does, yes.
Yeah, well, that's the world card, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then I got the Oracle and Adventure. So wait for important information, and I got the Five of Wands, which to me was saying that, like, I'm always questioning myself. I'm not really just ever. I'm always, doubting myself and doubting my abilities, right? And questioning. So it's fighting myself, fighting what I know that I feel, and questioning it.
What's it say again?
It says adventure, innocence, play, and discovery.
Okay.
How do you see that?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I can see the fighting yourself because it's wands, right? So the spirit of fire is wanting to go up. It's wanting to, it's seeking completeness and unity. But it's 5, right? So it's kind of that Gebura. It's like, it's fretful, hellish. So yeah, I could see what you're saying. You're doubting yourself, so you're holding yourself back from what should be going up.
Which
so
is
there's that strife.
Yeah, which is this. This is the portal, right? And I have the key, which is right here, to get through it. And I know it, but I'm fighting myself. I'm not actually going through that portal, right? Which would then explain why I woke up scared, right?
Well, it's like I said though in texting, it's natural. It's a natural reaction. You don't feel like bad. I mean, we're human. We're in these bodies. We have an instinctual urge to for survival, to not die, to keep ourselves alive.
Well, when I woke up,
and to your ego, stepping through that portal is death.
Yeah.
Because it will no longer really exist like it did.
I want to say goodbye to, I wanted to say goodbye to my kids, which was, like, that was the big thing.
But that's an attachment.
I know. I am aware of that. I'm aware.
I'm aware that you're aware.
So when I asked for clarification on the Ancient Ones, I got the Knight of Pentacles. And then clarification on the Time Master was the Page of Swords. However, these could be reversed because they fell on the ground. So I'm not sure, because to me it sort of feels like this could be here and this could be here as the Time Master, but it makes sense in both ways. I just feel like they could be crisscross, and they fell not on, they both fell at the same time, so I don't know which card they are supposed to represent, which means that time is not linear, right? And it's like fluid, and so I thought that was fun, a fun play.
Symbolism within the symbolism.
Right. So the Knight of Pentacles for the Ancient Ones is a slow and steady progress of information, creating a rebirth.
Which is how most of us work. We have to slowly be fed the information because we can't accept the truth all at once.
Right. And then the Page of Swords is the Time Master, which could possibly, and I'm just now seeing it, right, could possibly be coming in as it's going to be happening much faster, like coming in very, very quickly. But the Page of Swords, when I first saw it, I thought it represented a watching. It's consistent, always there, always around.
Well, the Page of Swords is air, and air is of the mind. So it's the realm of the mind. And Time Master, well, time is relative to the perception of the beholder of it, so the mind. So it's really a trick of the mind, it's an illusion.
Which is time itself is an illusion.
That's what I'm saying.
We were just read that.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say, yeah.
Okay. So then I asked for a clarification on the angelic ones, and the Hierophant came out, which, OMG, right?
Right. That's your higher self, basically.
Literally. And then, and teachers, right? The knowledge, divine guidance. Yeah, divine guidance, divine healing. And then when I asked for clarification on the divine blueprint, it was the star. Which, holy shit.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You were really talked to last night.
And then when I asked for an overall message for what card would represent everything I needed to know about that dream last night, the High Priestess came out. And I have tingles in my head right now.
Right. It's pretty amazing. The dream and the reading, both are very amazing. You should take a picture of that.
Yeah. And as I was going to get coffee today, I was thinking, I'm like, does this only happen? Because you know it happens like at least now once a week. I have something like this happen, which is awesome. But I'm wondering, I'm like, is it when I don't have my children? Do they stay away while I don't have my children, knowing that I can't fully... I think there's a pattern there with my children not being here, because I have to be here in the physical and present with them.
Of course, you've got more mental space to yourself. You can then relax and be able to do this kind of stuff, and then have the insights and the inspirations and the dreams. Yeah, it's the difference between being dragged into the mundane, which you have to. It's
Right.
your karma because you have kids. But it's all supposed to work out, right? It's all supposed to flow and be related. So there's a purpose all behind it, even having kids and having to deal with that. Maybe it keeps you grounded.
So what do you think what's your synopsis?
You synopsed it. You already did the synopsis. I mean, you laid it all out, and I think explained pretty well. I mean, I see it. I agree with it.
How do you, we'll put it into words. If you were to tell a story, how would you describe it?
You mean in the dream? The dream?
Yeah.
You were being contacted, talked to, being shown what's possible, being shown, hey, this is where you can go. Let's do this when you're ready. And you weren't. But you were being shown, and yeah, you've got all these very high powers overseeing it and there for you. And when I say you, is it you? You're just one of the levels of the mind, of gradation towards the higher self.
Right. It's
And
a collective energy, right?
Yeah. It's all fractal, right? So you're just part, a little scale on the dragon.
Right.
Fractal on the vast overarching existence, arc of existence, I guess you could say, right? So, but in where you are, this is what happened, and this is what you're being told and shown. And it's being overseen by the High Priestess. I mean, you should feel pretty special.
I do.
I think.
I feel like I am, well, and I know, that I felt like, I feel that I am a very integral part in elevating humanity, or propelling humanity into the next eon. So I'm going to reference the Egyptian thing that we watched, talking about the golden ages, the silver, the logos, right? And that I know that I'm powerful. I know that I am. But I feel like, oh crap, I lost it. I do feel special, but it's not special on a soul level, on an individual level. It's special in a collective level as far as humanity goes.
Well, yeah, in the end, we're all still just cogs, turning in the great wheel, doing our part.
Yeah.
So it can't be an ego thing. Ego is just attachment.
Okay, is there anything else we want to talk about?
Is there?
You can you can go in more about how I'm special. Ego.
You want the ego boost?
Yeah, you can tell me how I'm special. I should feel pretty special. I do feel pretty special. Um,
Well, you should feel
Even in the
it.
last couple months, right? I feel like super tapped in, and at least when I'm not working, it's always when if it's on work day, there's no way.
Mhm.
Um, and it's when I have the space when I have the space to be quiet, when I can be quiet,
It's good for you to be quiet.
and I don't have the TV on. I don't have the children going. I don't have the calls coming in. I don't have the computer on. I don't have.
I get it.
Uh,
I had a pretty good meditation this morning for a long time. Just put my earplugs in and listen to the Nam kind of vibrating through me.
mhm.
And then so that way, I should feel like I'm special, but that I'm lucky enough to be in contact with that that vibration. But in the end, it's like it's more of a humble feeling, right?
Mhm.
That me, you picked me, you know, it humbles you.
The word conduit keeps coming to mind, right? Like you mentioned the Nam, which then talks about the water, and there is I'm a conduit for the energy above and for the consciousness of Gaia, Terra. It it's all the same. Like my connection with the earth is like huge, right? I have a crazy affinity for this place or for her. But then there all of a sudden there's like this uh, space component, um, ET astral component. It's interesting how the two are coming together in a way.
Oh, as above, so below.
Yeah.
There's always got to be that connection. The earth was seeded from the stars.
Yeah, but all of what I have been up to now, I mean, I've dabbled in ET stuff, right? I know about it, and I felt like I understood it. But my connection was always very firmly with the earth, such as when we met. That was where I was, and it very securely. And it's like now I'm going into even another realm of understanding. Yeah. Are you seeing the silver foil tinfoil hat right now? Is that what you're doing? Okay.
What I was thinking was that what we're talking about, the even dream, it's all still of the mind. It's all still our perception trying to interpret what's going on. And it's all built up to get you to, and any of us, but in this case, you, to take that final step, to step through and to let go. And then all this stuff, us sitting here, us looking at each other, the light rays bouncing off our physical bodies so that we can see what each other looks like, the cards, us talking, it's all meaningless except in that how it's gathering up to get you comfortable enough to take that final step. And that's everybody's.
Well, it's not meaningless as it propels humanity and propels the consciousness that is to the next level.
Sure. So I guess I should say it's not the meaning that we think it is.
And then additionally, it's yes, I'm going to point out when we talked about when I said that everything that's coming out now or has been coming out in the last couple of years is like it's preparing us to let go softly, right? Like preparing us for death, preparing us for. We were on your couch. I think it was right after we watched Outer Worlds, Inner Worlds.
After we.
No, and so it's like a soft disclosure,
Mm-hmm.
a soft death.
No, I get it.
Fascinating. I mean, it was so beautiful, but so scary at the same time. And I woke up, and normally I'm aware of if it's like negative or whether I feel like it's something that shouldn't be there or it's intrusive. But I woke up and I'm not sure how, I didn't know how I felt. I was just like, well, that was, and I said it out loud to the, ether. I said, well, that was uncomfortable.
Well, I think as you approach the amalgamation of the opposites, you're going to have both coming together, and it's going to get confusing. And then, like, yeah, you don't know. You feel maybe both. You feel it could have been good, but there's also something weird about it.
But
You're not really sure.
Is the weird because it's because it's the unknown, the portal.
Sure.
Like, yeah,
That could be it.
It was really, really beautiful.
Well, and think about this. But we feel the negative from like a dream. That's fear.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's fear? Fear is just unknown.
Unknown. Yeah.
Fear is not knowing, not having control.
Yeah.
And fear has its face. It's like we put different faces on it, but it's usually something negative, like my giant spider, right?
Yeah.
Or a demon face. Fear of the unknown, fear of doing what you got to do, fear of going through. So it all comes together in the end, right? Because we both know that in the end it's unity.
Mm-hmm.
There are no opposites. It's just
Right.
a matter of perception.
Right. It's ascending duality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to do that, you have to leave it behind. You have to leave this behind, and that's painful.
This is interesting because it's like I know all of these things. It's like I keep coming back to this lesson because every time I get to it and I surrender what I think I'm surrendering to, it's still not enough. So I still have to come back to it.
Because it's all here.
And I still have to.
I know. It's like lifetimes going round and round.
But each
Until we learn.
time it comes back to it, it gets even more powerful and more that soft disclosure, right? It's that soft, that soft integration.
So what can you do? Just keep on doing it. Keep on walking the path.